There is something the Stoics discovered that most people spend their entire lives searching for. Not a way to avoid pain, not a way to make the world kinder or the people in it more careful with you. Something far more powerful than that. A way to make yourself genuinely, structurally unable to be hurt in the way you have been hurt before. Not numb, not cold, not disconnected from life, but free in the deepest sense of that word. Marcus Aurelius was betrayed by people he trusted. Seneca watched friends abandon him when he fell from power. Epictetus had his leg broken by a master who wanted to demonstrate his control. And all three of them arrived at the same secret, not through luck or circumstance, through a specific way of understanding themselves and the world around them. In this video, I'm going to share that secret with you. The Stoic secret to never being hurt in the same way again. Write in the comments right now, "I choose what reaches me." Say it before this video ends. The secret begins with one distinction. Everything that has ever hurt you falls into one of two categories. The first category is physical pain, real harm to your body. This is genuine and undeniable, and the Stoics never pretended otherwise. The second category is everything else: the rejection, the betrayal, the humiliation, the criticism, the being ignored, underestimated, left behind, or treated as if you did not matter. All of that second category, every single piece of it, has one thing in common. It required your interpretation to become pain. Something happened, and then your mind decided what it meant. And that meaning is what hurt you, not the event itself. This is not a comfortable idea. It feels like it is minimizing real pain. It is not. It is locating where the pain actually lives, and locating it is the first step towards something the Stoics called the most important skill a human being can develop: the ability to choose your interpretation. Lesson 1. Pain is not in events. It is in judgments about events. Marcus Aurelius wrote this in his private journal, not as philosophy for others, but as a reminder to himself. He wrote that if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and you have the power to revoke that estimate at any moment. Read that again slowly. You have the power to revoke that estimate at any moment. This does not mean pretending the event did not happen. It does not mean forcing yourself to feel fine when you do not. It means recognizing that the story you are telling yourself about what happened is not the only story available. Someone ignored you. That is the event. The story your mind tells might be, "I do not matter. I am not enough. I will never be chosen." But those stories are not facts. They are interpretations, and interpretations can be changed. The Stoic practice is to examine the story, to ask whether it is actually true, to find a more accurate interpretation, and to refuse to let an inaccurate story cause you ongoing pain. Lesson 2. Most of what hurts you is about your expectations, not reality. Here is a pattern the Stoics identified that once you see it, you cannot unsee. Almost every non-physical hurt contains a gap between what you expected and what actually happened, between what you believed someone was and who they showed themselves to be, between the outcome you anticipated and the one you received. The gap is where the pain lives. Which means that pain is, in large part, a function of expectation. This is not cynicism. The Stoics were not saying you should expect the worst from everyone. They were saying something more precise, that you should see people and situations clearly, without the softening filter of what you wish they were, without the protective fog of hope that makes reality harder to see. Epictetus taught that we should love people for who they actually are, not who we need them to be. Because loving a version of someone that does not exist sets you up for a pain that is, in a very real sense, self-created. When you see clearly, disappointment becomes rarer, not because people become better, but because you are no longer surprised by who they actually are. Lesson 3. The only things that can truly hurt you are the things you give power to. This is the heart of the Stoic secret. You are not a passive receiver of what the world does to you. You are an active participant in determining what reaches you and what does not. Every time you give someone's opinion power over your self-worth, you have made a choice. Every time you allow someone's behavior to define how you feel about yourself, you have made a choice. Every time you let an external event determine your inner state, you have made a choice. These choices often feel involuntary. They happen fast. They feel like reactions rather than decisions. But Epictetus was insistent about this. Between the stimulus and your response, there is always a space. Always. Even when it feels too small to notice. And the practice of Stoicism is the practice of finding that space and using it. Because in that space is your freedom. The freedom to decide what you allow in, what you give power to, what you refuse to let define you. No one can hurt you without your participation. And once you understand that fully, the world loses a significant portion of its power over your inner state. Lesson 4. Forgiveness is not for them. It is for you. One of the most persistent sources of ongoing pain in most people's lives is not the original wound. It is the carrying of it, the replaying of what happened, the rehearsal of what you should have said, the maintenance of the anger, the grievance, the sense of injustice that keeps the wound fresh long after the event that created it has passed. The Stoics understood this with extraordinary clarity. Seneca wrote that holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intention of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. Forgiveness, in the Stoic tradition, is not a gift you give to the person who hurt you. It is a decision you make for yourself. A decision to put down the coal, to stop rehearsing the wound, to redirect the energy you have been spending on the past toward the life you are trying to build now. It does not require the other person to deserve it. It does not require an apology. It does not require any contact with them at all. It requires only one thing, the recognition that carrying this is costing you more than releasing it. Lesson 5. Build your identity on what cannot be taken. Here is the final and most important piece of the Stoic secret. Most of the pain people experience in life comes from having built their sense of self on something fragile, on their reputation, on their relationships, on their achievements, on how they are perceived by others. And fragile foundations produce fragile people. People who can be devastated by a single rejection, a single failure, a single shift in how they are seen. The Stoics built their identity on something different, on their character, on their values, on the quality of their choices and the consistency of their integrity. These things cannot be taken. A reputation can be destroyed overnight. An achievement can be rendered irrelevant. A relationship can end without warning. But your character, the actual choices you make when no one is watching, the integrity you maintain when it would be easier not to, the virtue you practice in the ordinary moments of your life, that belongs to you completely, and it cannot be touched by anything the world does to you. When your identity is built on that foundation, the things that used to hurt you simply do not reach the same depth, because they are not attacking anything essential. They are attacking the surface, and you have learned to live from a place the surface cannot reach. This is the Stoic secret, not a shield against pain, but a relocation of the self to a place where most pain cannot follow. It is not built in a day. It is built in the daily practice of catching your interpretations before they become suffering, of seeing people clearly rather than through the lens of what you wish they were, of choosing what you give power to, of forgiving not for their sake but for your own, of anchoring your identity in what cannot be taken from you. That practice, repeated day after day, builds something the world cannot touch. That is the Viastoica, the Stoic path, and it has been waiting for you all along. If this video gave you something you needed, subscribe to Viastoica. Every week, ancient wisdom for the life you are actually trying to build. Write in the comments the one thing you are ready to stop giving power to. I read every single one. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, 2,000 years ago, still true today. See you on the path.